Hi there, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to build a dynamic pagination system using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Pagination is essential when you want to display a large amount of content over multiple pages, providing a better user experience by limiting what's shown at one time. We'll be using plain vanilla JavaScript to keep things simple and straightforward. Here's the result. We'll be building a simple pagination system that dynamically updates as you navigate between pages. The app shows 10 items per page and we can navigate between pages using the next and previous buttons. You can load data between pages using these buttons and the content updates without reloading the page. We also have disabled states for the previous and next buttons when you are on the first or last page. Don't miss out this fun and educational project, and I upload unique project videos every week. Please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. If you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to subscribe our channel Sarachandar K and hit that notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Now let's dive into the code. Let's open this simple pagination project folder in my favorite code editor, Visual Studio Code. Let me know your favorite and why in our comment box below. Inside the directory, I have already created index.html, style.css and script.js. Inside the index.html, I have added HTML boilerplate with the help of exclamation mark. Along with this, I have changed the title to Dynamic Simple Pagination by Sharat Chandar. And below, I have linked other two files, style.css and script.js. Now, inside the body, we are going to add the HTML element for the simple pagination. For that, first I will create a div with the help of embed abbreviation with the class value of item container and id value of same item container. If I hit enter, it will automatically created the div class with the help of class and then value. With the help of hash, it will create the id and then the value. Next thing, we'll add one more div with class value of pagination. Inside this, we are going to add the two buttons. So for that, button asterisk 2. If I hit enter, it will create a two button. So for the first button, I will mention this as previous and then next button this as next. Now I will set the ID for this. For the first button as preview button and then next button as ID value of next button. So between this button, we need to show which page we are in. So for that, I'm going to use the span tag with the ID of page info. With the help of this span tag, we are going to display the current page as well as the total page. That's all for the HTML. Now let us see our HTML file in action. For that, in Visual Studio Code, we have an extension called Go Live. Once we click in the status bar, it will automatically create the server and it will run into the default browser. Here we can see the title of Dynamic Simple Pagination by Sarat Chandar, and only we can see the buttons. As I mentioned in the demo, this is fully dynamic. So we are going to add the data with the help of script.js. Before adding the dynamic data, we just style this. For that, I will jump to the style.css. Here we'll add the styles to the body with the help of element selector name called body, and I will set the font family as Arial with secondary font as sans serif, and will set the display flags. They should be set to the center of the screen with the help of justify content center, and will set the height of 90 VH, and will set the flux direction to be column, and will set align item to be center, and will set the background color to blue color. If I go to the browser, here we can see the changes immediately. That is how the live server will work. Next thing, we'll add the styles to this item container with the help of class. I will mention class with dot selector and will set the width of 300 px and will set margin bottom to 20 px. Next thing, we'll add the styles to this pagination with the help of same dot because this is a class. We'll set display flags and we'll set align items to be center. Here this button and then page info and the next button should be in single liner. The next thing, we'll add the styles to the button with the help of element selector name called button. This will applicable to all the buttons it's present in the HTML. We'll set the padding inner spacing 10 px of top and bottom and then right and left to 20 px and then we'll set the margin outer spacing of 0 top and bottom and 5 px for right and left and we'll set the background color of this button of blue color and we'll set the text color to be white and we'll remove the border to none and we'll set the border radius to 5 px and we'll set the cursor to pointer. If I go to the browser, here we can see the button with cursor pointer and then text color as white. Next thing, we'll add the styles to this page info with the help of ID. So previously we have used for class and then element selector. Now we need to set for ID. For setting the ID, we need to use the hash with the help of value name as page info. I will set the font size to 16 px and will set the margin of top and bottom to be 0, right and left to be 10 px. If I go to the browser, here we can see the gap between two buttons. Next thing, we load the dynamic content with the help of script. For that, I need to jump to the script.js. Will directly create one let declaration with name of items. This will be an array. So with the help of this array, we are going to display the dynamic rows into the list. So for creating the dynamic list, I will use the for loop and I will add the let I equal to 1, I less than equal to 50. I'm going to add the 50 dynamic records and I plus plus. Inside this, I will do the console.log and I will print a year. If I go to the browser, if I go to the console, here we can see the 50 dynamic numbers with the help of for each. Now we are creating this as a number. Then we need to convert this to string. So for that, I will push the values to the items dot push because this is an array. We can use push and pop to update and delete. So with the help of this, I will add the string concatenation and I will place the string as item and then value of I and we'll check now what this array contains console.log of items. If I go to the browser, now here we can see the list of array with items started from 1 and ended to 50. Now we need to load this dynamic data into the item container. As we think now this is a dynamic data we are getting from the DB. The process will be same once we connect it to the database. So now we need to display this. So before displaying this, I need to create two more declaration of const item per page equal to 10. So here we can set 10, 5, 50 based on requirement and then I will set the let current page equal to 1. Why I have set this as a const and why I have set this as a let. If it is const, we are not able to change at the runtime. So we can think this is from not changeable and the current page will be changeable based on the user click. Now we can load the data with the help of function with function keyword and then name of display items. Inside this function, I will append all the items into the container. For that, we need to create one more declaration of item container equal to document. Document is an owner of your web page. With the help of document, we can easily do the DOM manipulation, and I will use the dot with get element by ID, and then I will go and copy this ID from this element and I will use it here. Now we'll check what this item container contains with the help of console.log, and then I will use this display item function to call this function with initialization. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can see the entire element content of that item container. That is how the DOM tree will work. So now with the help of this, we can append whatever we want. So after getting this, I will reset this inner HTML and then I will load the data inside this. For loading the data, I can add the for each of that items and I will add the item container dot append child and then elements. If I save, if I go to the browser, we are getting append child on error. Why? Because this is not an HTML. So we need to append the HTML inside this. For that, I will create one more item div as const equal to document dot create element. This will help us to create the element same as index.html. Now I will create this as a div and then item div dot text content equal to this element, and then I will append this element inside this. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can see the total 50 items is displayed once. So here we can't able to check what this as contains. So instead of this loading all at once, we need to segregate 10 per pages, and then once user click, we need to load next 10. So for that we need to segregate this with the help of another const. We'll add the name as start equal to and we'll get the current page minus 1, and then we are going to multiply with items per page. So this will get the start page, and same for end. I'm going to use the const end equal to start plus item per page. Now we'll check what this start and end contains with the help of start comma end. If I save, if I go to the browser, console is not a function. Sorry, this is console.log. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can see 0 and 10. So this will start from 0 and this will end for 10. So what this will do, this will mention from item from 0 and then till 10. So with the help of start and end, we can get the items from the collection. So for this, I will create one more const of item to display, because these are the items we are going to display with the help of that entire items of arrays. This should be array or from the database collection or list, whatever, and we can slice from start to end. Slice is an array function. With the help of slice, we can get the values from start to end with the help of indexes. So now I will use this item to display here in the console. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can see 0 and 10, and here the list of 1 to 10. And the next time once we click next, this should get for next 10. Right. Before that, instead of showing all the 50, I will show only the required 10 here. For that, I will use this item to display instead of items. Then I will remove this console. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can see the item of 1 to 10. Now I will add some styles to this with the help of class. So if I go and check this item, we don't have any classes because this is a dynamic element. How we can add the classes? For that, we have a option to add the class also with the help of item div dot class name, and we can set the class name as item. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can see the class name as item. Now we'll add the styles to this. For that, I will jump to the style.css. So next to the item container, I will add the item of the class selector with the help of dot and I will set cursor to pointer, padding inner spacing to be 10 px, margin outer spacing, top and bottom should be 5 px, right and left to be 0. We'll set the background color as white and we'll set border 1 px solid with gray color and we'll set the border radius to 5 px. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can see the items as list with the help of styles. Now whenever I hover, I can change the style of this particular item. Then user can come to know which item they are hovering. For that, we have a option to add the over with the help of item and then over will set the background color of blue color and will set the border to this of 1 px solid and white color. If I save, if I go to the browser, now if I go on over, now we can see the styles to this. Now once I click next, this should be loaded next 10 items. For that I need to jump to the script.js and here I will add two more function with the help of function keyword. The first function as next page and then I will copy this and the second function as previous page. Here inside this will set the current pages plus plus and for the previous pages we can set minus minus and instead of this I will copy this display item because whenever we click this we need to load the start and end page, right? So that again I need to call this display function here and I will move this display function end of this list. If I save, if I go to the browser, now the first 10 item is loaded. If I click on next, nothing is happened. Why? Because we have created this function we have not yet called. So we need to call this with the help of button function. So inside this button function, so I will add the on click of this previous with the help of previous page for the next with the help of on click again and with function name of next page. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I click on next, we can see the 11 to 20. If I click on next, we can get 20 to 30 and 30 to 40 and then 40 to 50. If I click on next, what will happen? 50 to 60, but the list is empty. Why? Because we don't have 50 to 60 records. So if I go for previous and we'll get 40 to 50 and I can go for till 0 to 10. If I click on previous again, we don't have records with minus value. It will start from 0 only, right? We need to restrict that and then we need to display the text of what this current content is there inside the page info. For that, I will create one more function of update pagination. Inside this pagination, I need to get this page info with the help of ID, same as above with page info equal to document dot get element by ID and then ID value of page info. Inside this, we'll get the entire element of this particular ID. And now we need to calculate the total pages. For that, I will add the const total pages equal to math.seal. If you don't know what this math.seal, in our previous playlist 52 weeks of 52 projects in JavaScript, we have clearly explained what this math operations. If you are interested, please do check it out, link in the description. And then we'll add this items dot length. This will get the total number of count inside that array. We are going to divide it with item per page. Then we'll get the total pages and we are going to append this into the page info dot text content equal to with the help of text concatenation of page and here we'll set this as first current page of total pages. If I save, if I go to the browser, still it is not displayed. Why? Because here we have created this function, we have not yet initialized it. So we need to initialize whenever this display items. Why we have assigned this inside this display items? Because it was loaded all the time while on the onload or next or previous button. So inside this should be a one-time call to get access to this function and will display the current page as well as the total page. If I save, if I go to the browser, So here we can see the page 1 of 5. If I hit for next, we'll get the page 2 of 5. If I hit on next, 3 of 5. If I hit on next, 4 of 5. If I hit on next, 5 of 5. Now we'll get the content. And then next we don't have the pages. So that time we need to disable this button once we reach the end of this pages. So same for this previous also. So for that, here inside this update pagination, we'll get document dot get element by id of this previous button. Same for next button, we'll set disable. This is a attribute. With the help of this attribute, we can disable the button equal to true. So for now, I will show how this disable will work. If I save, if I go to the browser, this is not disabled because I have misspelled here. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can see the over effect, but it is disabled. We can't do any function in it. So once it's disabled, we can change the style to this to reduce the confusion. For that, I will jump to the style.css. Next to the button, I will add the button with the attribute of disable. If this present, will set the background color to gray and will set the cursor to not allowed. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can see the disable effect with not allowed cursor pointer. Then the user can understand this is not able to click. So instead of true, if I set to false, now if I go to the browser, only the previous button is enabled, still the next button is disabled. So we need to add the conditional statement to enable and disable this. So simply how we can do, we can check if current pages triple equal to 1, then we need to disable the previous button, right? If I save, if I go to the browser, so now the current state is 1, this is disabled. Same for current pages triple equal to total pages. Whenever the current pages is 5 and then we are already find the total pages of 5. Once this both matches, this should be true and the button will be disabled. If I save, if I go to the browser, now the current page is 1, so the previous button is disabled. If I click on next, here we can see the previous button is enabled. If I click on previous again, the current state is 1, so this is disabled. So for the next, if I click on next, if I click on next, and if I navigate to the last page, so that time the next button is disabled because the current page is 5 as well as the total pages is also 5. How simple is this, right? So based on next and previous, we can play around with the help of this item arrays. So in future, we can change the array to data collection and we can make use of this functionality to do a simple pagination without relying on any third-party library. And that's it for today's video. We have successfully built a dynamic pagination system using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is a great way to break large datasets into manageable chunks and improve user experience on your websites. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel Sarachandar K to watch more web development content. If you are interested in JavaScript projects like this, I have created and added a playlist 52 weeks of 52 projects in JavaScript. Link in the description. Please do check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep coding and keep learning. See you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye for now. Have a nice day.